Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a quick one that I'm going to do in two parts. The first part is how to remove and replace the PCV valve, which is buried right back here on this 3.8 liter Jeep Wrangler. It's a 2011 model. And the second part of the video is why am I actually doing it? Why might you want to do it? What it does, just a real quick overview. And it's not because mine's broken actually. So let's get at it. The first thing we have to do is get access to it, which means removing the coil pack, which is right here. It's two 10mm fasteners, pretty straightforward. Just pull them out and drop the coil pack down. Now that the coil pack is out of the way, we can take the PCV valve, the vent hose off, and it's just a hose clamp. You can use your super fancy dancy hose clamp, plier jaw tool, or just a pair of channel locks to get this loose. Pull the hose off. Right, so this is the PCV valve. It actually sits inside this housing. There's a rubber seal or gasket that holds it in place, and you can spend 30 to 45 minutes trying to pull this out with a pair of pliers, get really frustrated, and then go use the technique that I'm going to show you, or you can just skip to the technique that I'm going to show you. It gets wedged in here really good, and it's really tough to get out. You're going to leverage with a screwdriver off of the intake manifold, and yeah, let me show you that. Ideally, you'd have a bolt that is a little bit smaller than this opening, and you'd be able to stick it in there. I don't. You can use your new PCV valve to figure out what'll fit in there, by the way. But I have this plastic drywall anchor, and I cut it off to be a good length, and I'll just shove it in there. Why the heck are we doing that? That's just to provide some strength in that nipple, so that when we put some vice grips on there, it'll not crush it completely anyway. This is the old one, so if I'm set, I'm replacing it. I'm not just pulling it out to check it, so if I crush it, it's okay. But if you're going to try to put this back in, you want to make sure that you don't crush this diameter. Anyway, I'm going to put some vice grips on here, and then stick a screwdriver through the vice grip to get onto the intake manifold, pry up, and that should pull it out. Just like that. Before you pull this out of the engine bay completely, do a quick inspection. You want to make sure it's completely intact so that you don't have pieces to go fish out before you try to put the new one in. And you can see mine's coated in oil, which I don't think it's supposed to be. I think it should be dry, because that means that oil is getting around that seal. So I think it is a good thing that I'm replacing this one, just to make sure that it's in good working order. Before installing the new one, I just put a little bit of oil on the rubber here to help it go in easier, and I use oil instead of silicone spray or some other lubricating spray, just because this is what's already in the engine in this area, so nothing foreign going in. But, just line it up, push it in, and it seats part of the way, and then just a few love taps with a 1/2-inch socket to seat it. That's it. All right, once you get that PCV valve seated, that's all you need. So just a little bit below the lip of that housing that it sits in, and you're good to go. Put the breather hose back on, don't forget the hose clamp, put your coil pack back on, and you're done. So why did I even replace these? The new one's on the left and the old one's on the right. And it's only been about, it's been 5 years since I replaced this the last time. The first time I replaced it was at 40,000 miles, and now I'm about 92,000 miles. So why even replace it? Is it bad? You should be able to hear the check ball in here shake if it's a good valve. So let's see. The old one, you can hear it. New one, you can hear it. It sounds exactly the same. So the valve's not bad, so why do it? Well, for one thing, this one's got oil on it, so maybe oil is leaking around the seal. Secondly, this seal can actually, over time, go from being rubber to being hard like a plastic, and then shatter or break or fracture. And that will cause blow-by around the seal, get oil going up into your intake, and get some oil consumption. And then when you go to pull this out eventually, you'll have to fish out broken pieces possibly, or even have broken pieces fall into your intake or valves So you want to avoid that, obviously. So the scheduled maintenance for this is to check it about every 100,000 miles. And I said, no thanks. I don't want this to become something that breaks before I replace it, because the part's only $5 or so. And I'll leave a link in the description for this new one that I'm using. But every 5 years for a 15-minute maintenance job, it really makes sense to me to fix it before it breaks. So that's the reason I'm doing it. And like I said, they both are functional, but just wanted to get it done before it breaks and gets bad. And for those of you wondering what the heck is a PCV valve even good for, it's really emissions control, but it also maintains a healthier engine. So combustion gases sometimes sneak by and get up into the valve cover and on top of the valves, and if that mixes with oil, it can create sludge, which then messes up the engine. So you need to vent those gases, and if you vent them straight out into the environment, then that's bad for the environment. So you vent it back into your crankcase, and then it gets those combustion gases actually get recycled and used in the combustion process. And so this PCV valve is actually just really a check valve to keep the gases flowing out with nothing backflowing into the intake. And it also is designed to keep the oil on the inside and the gases going out. And obviously if it starts to fail, you'll start getting oil going in the wrong direction. So that is the purpose of these PCV valves. So I hope this video is useful to show you what it takes to get that PCV valve out of this 3.8 liter Jeep Wrangler. This one's a 2011 JKU, and there are lots of other projects on this channel if you want to subscribe. There's a lot of Jeep TJ videos, some for this JKU, also a Dodge Grand Caravan, and a Chevy Cobalt. So lots going on in the garage as I try to keep things running for our household. Subscribe to the channel, give this one a thumbs up if it's been helpful for you, and hopefully it saves you 30 to 45 minutes wrestling with getting the PCV valve out. Either way, I hope you enjoyed and have a great day. See you next time.